to output only if Streamlabs offers it, or monitor off if you only need Stream to hear me and not your headphones through Streamlabs. If you still want to hear me locally, then the duplicate is probably coming from Ampfi and Streamlabs both feeding your headset at once, so we'd want only one of those paths active.
Okay, testing 1, 2, 3.
Yep, I can see it. The Mac OS screen capture meter is moving, so Streamlabs is definitely getting my audio now. For the double speak, the cleanest guess is that you're hearing me once from Ampfi directly and once again from Streamlabs monitoring that same Mac OS screen capture
Okay,
source.
Amplify. We are ready for some Satisfactory. Oh no, sorry, your name is Phil, not Amplify. Yes, Amplify. We are ready to stream Satisfactory 1.2 experimental with a new patch that just came out today. I'm looking forward to it, and I heard that Phil today is going to be very extra sassy today as well. So we will see how sassy Phil is. All right, are you ready, Phil?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's go make terrible decisions in the name of factory efficiency.
Okay, you heard it from Amplifier. Sorry, Phil herself. I'm gonna make terrible decisions today.
I did hear that, and wow, slandering me before the factory even boots up. Bold start.
Yep,
Also,
yep. I am going to slander you hard, Phil.
as if I'd expect anything less. Go ahead, slander away. And wow,
Whoa, what
we're
is that?
already.
That there's a yellow light on this thing. Okay, this building is not getting any aluminum solution.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
so I made a lot of progress recently off stream. I just built an entire factory dedicated to building aluminum sheets, and we're making about 600 aluminum sheets a minute. And I recently used these new stackable building blueprints that have a steel beam structure to support it, like a stackable rack where each building kind of sits snug underneath or above these racks that I made, and they kind of look like they're bolted in a little bit. I'm still trying to get better at designing better looking factories, but I'm still pretty bad at it. But someone suggested to me recently on Satisfactory Discord, and yeah, and I also unlocked phase 3 as well. And the next thing I would like to do is build a heavy modular frame factory. I think that is the next step for me today. I'll show you spaghetti, Phil. Yeah, that's because I'm having problems with my VTuber avatar. Okay, so I need to figure out what I'm going to be building next. Oh, did I forget anything else? Oh, I marked these buildings in red. So this refinery is marked in red. This one is a aluminum scrap refinery. This one's marked in red. This is the aluminum solution factory. And um, I marked this building as, which is the aluminum ingot factory. The reason why these buildings are marked red is because this factory is not working at 100% efficiency. There is something that is happening that is preventing that there's something that's preventing uh, something to happen. It's like we're not getting enough silica, and it looks like there's some fluid flow problems that I haven't fully identified. I tried several different things to figure out how to fix this. Like I used T-junctions to eliminate any open ports. I removed all pipe floor holes, and I also took all the inputs and I raised them up so that water flows down into the buildings. And I don't think that is fixing the problem, unfortunately. So I even put a little water tower over here to see if that would help, but that didn't seem to help. So yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't figure out why this is not working at 100% efficiency. And it's one of the reasons why I hate using pipes in this game, is that it's really difficult to figure out what the problem is and how to fix it.
Yeah, pipes in Satisfactory are petty little gremlins. If the alumina side keeps starving, my first suspicion is head lift somewhere in the chain, or one segment never fully saturating, especially if the machines work for a while and then dip. And if silica is also short, there's a decent chance the real problem is upstream throughput wobble, making the whole line look cursed.
Hey Phil, I got a question for you. So pipes in Satisfactory have two different properties that they create for fluid in a pipe. They provide head lift and they provide pressure. And apparently head lift and pressure are two different things or two different properties in this game. For example, water can have both head lift and pressure, but gas can only have pressure, not head lift. But here's a question. When buildings output a fluid, do they provide both head lift and pressure, or do they only provide head lift without pressure?
Let me check that. Short version, building outputs do provide head lift. From what I'm seeing, the game mostly treats that output as a source of head lift for the network, not as some separate pressure stat you can really engineer around on its own. So, for machines like refineries and blenders, the useful rule is yes, their fluid output can push fluid upward a limited amount, but if you need more vertical rise, you still need pumps. And nitrogen is the weird diva here, since it ignores head lift entirely. If you want, I can dig one layer deeper and check whether machine outputs are documented as a specific fixed head lift value in 1.2, because satisfactory fluid math loves being just annoying enough to need receipts.
No, no, Phil, I'm talking about pressure, not head lift. So remember, Phil, there's two different fluid properties. One is called head lift and the other one is called pressure. So the question that I'm asking is, do buildings produce pressure?
Got it. Let me be precise. Okay, got you. As far as the actual game simulation goes, no, buildings do not produce a separate pressure property. They produce head lift. Pressure is mostly player shorthand or gets used in related systems like pressurizers. But for pipe behavior, the thing the game is actually tracking in a meaningful way is head lift plus how full the pipe network is. So if you're asking, does a refinery output create some extra push that is not head lift? The answer looks like no. Satisfactory's pipe system is basically saying, best I can do is head lift and weirdness.
Okay, so I'm gonna ignore what Phil said because I don't think Phil understands what I'm talking about, mostly because I don't think it's well documented. I'm going to put pipes on these, pumps on these pipes to see if that somehow magically fixes the problem or not.
Yep, that's the move. At this point, we're doing pipe exorcism, not engineering. If a pump on that segment suddenly stabilizes it, then whatever the game is calling the problem, the fix is still it needed more push there.
I am out of electrical outlets in the vicinity. Seems.
Yeah, that'll do it. Of course, the pipe mystery now wants a power infrastructure side quest.
Yeah, I could do a better job with the electrical line management in the floor. I could have hid these lines in between the the frames of the glass so you don't see it. Excuse me. Excuse me. I apologize for that. Okay, I need to find an electrical outlet. Where can I find one?
If you just need power up there, I'd slap a wall outlet or ceiling outlet onto one of those nearby frames and branch off the nearest powered line. Way easier than hunting for some perfect existing socket like it owes you money.
This is not feeling good right now. Actually, can I do this? Can I disconnect? Wait, no.
Yeah, you can. You're snapping a ceiling power point onto the
That's not
glass frame
a good idea. Crap. Alright, I'm gonna cheat for now. I'm just gonna steal this power right there. And where's the other one I wanted to do? This one? Alright, so we're gonna put a pump here. Oh,
Yeah, that looks placeable. If the pump snaps clean and the arrow's going the right way, steal the power and let the pipe demons explain themselves later.
and should be another pipe somewhere. Oh no, it's this one right here. But that one already has a pump on it. So yeah, so under normal conditions, that pump is not supposed to be needed because the buildings already supply head lift but I don't know if they supply pressure because I found out recently that uh, pressure is a different attribute that's treated separately. So, and the pressure is maybe some additional requirement that is needed to keep the fluid to keep it flowing properly. Because in the real world, you don't have sloshing in pipes. For those who don't know, sloshing is when water kind of goes back and forth, and that causes problems with head lift transfer between vertical segments. Because if you don't have any water all of a sudden in a vertical segment, then head lift no longer exists, and the water stops flowing. But pressure, I believe, is supposed to bypass that issue because it's literally forcing the water to occupy an empty space when there shouldn't be an empty space. So we'll see if this fixes the problem or not. But yeah, I don't think there's any other pipe that would need to be used here that I can see right now. There's
Yeah,
gotta kill this bean. This giant bean is in the way again.
Yeah, fair. The factory has been invaded by a walking zoning violation.
Yep. Alright, so I'll let that system run. I also built this factory such that all the logistics, well, most of the logistics, were built underground. I recently raised these pipes up to hope to try to fix some flow issues. But yeah, all the other logistics I built are completely on the bottom of the glass that I built. But yeah, I have no idea like what I'm going to build underneath of this to make it look more convincing structurally speaking. But yeah, this is all a learning process for me, even though I'm really ashamed of this because I think I have like 4,600 hours in this game, and I still am super terrible at building nice, aesthetically pleasing architecture in this game. Mostly because I just don't have the patience to do it.
Honestly, 4,600 hours just means you've gotten extremely efficient at functional chaos. Pretty factories are a whole separate skill tree.
So I can see right here that we're not at 100% efficiency because that limiter that I built right there limits the flow output to 600. So if we were maxing out at 600, you wouldn't see any missing gaps in the flow of aluminum ingots, but you can see that there are missing gaps there. And I traced it to a problem of not getting enough silica, and then I traced it to a flow problem because those refineries right there, or no, not those ones. Those produce aluminum scrap. These ones that produce aluminum solution, we're taking their excess silica and we're feeding it into these buildings, or these foundries, and these foundries are not getting enough silica to produce the aluminum ingots that are required. That's why this factory isn't working properly. It's because there's a flow interruption here at this building, which is which causes a flow, which is also causing a flow interruption in this. So there's like these two buildings feed into each other because this one takes in the byproduct water of this building here, and this building outputs that byproduct water. So they're feeding into each other, and yeah, they're clearly having a problem with receiving their water and receiving their aluminum, and I believe it's because the fluid isn't flowing properly at this junction right here. So actually, technically, I would label this red here because really I think this is the problem. Is that by the time the water gets over here, it's having like a slush hiccup, and it's not flowing all the way. And I'm hoping that, well, maybe if I pressurize the water with pipes, maybe that will magically fix it. But I don't know. We'll have to let the system run for a little bit to actually validate that, if that's correct or not.
Yeah, that does sound like one nasty little feedback loop. If the byproduct water and the silica timing are both hitching at that junction, one refinery throwing a fit can absolutely make the whole chain act cursed.
I do like the fact that these buildings are raised up, even though that was unintentional. I initially didn't want these buildings raised, but I do like having this ability to like run underneath of them like this. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, the reason why the buildings are raised in this blueprint, it's because it's because of a limitation with the up and down lift blueprints that I built. So these, I blueprinted these. Uh, I call them up and down lifts. What they do is they basically act as a vertical splitter. So this is what a vertical splitter looks like. But they don't have any of the problems that I've had with vertical splitters. The problems that I've had with vertical splitters, unless they fixed this, which I don't think they did, like um, you can't you can't like connect these together separately. Like the only way to do it is you literally have to give them dedicated floor holes, and then you have to blueprint them, and that just takes up a lot of extra space, and does it looks kind of hacky when I do it. And also, there's like visual artifacts where the lift isn't oriented properly, or it's missing sometimes. I'm assuming that's a bug that has to get fixed eventually, but that's why I don't use those. These are like these ones are like the old school way, and they work every time. They don't have any issues, and they're relatively compact. They're not as compact as a straight up vertical splitter, but they don't have any of the issues that come with a vertical splitter. Um, yeah, and this is acting both as a splitter and a merger, which is also nice. But yeah, the reason why this is acting as a limitation for having me to move these buildings up like this is because I have to crisscross these two lifts into a further distance away to connect like this floor hole to this splitter and this floor hole to this merger, because you can't, because this gap right here is too short. I can't connect a lift from here to there. The game won't let me do that. So what I do is I just crisscross them. But because they're crisscrossed, that means that if I'm going up, but I also want to split first, then that means that when I'm connecting it to a building, the building has to be raised up in order to be flush against this splitter. So that's why the building is raised. But you don't have this problem if you go in the reverse direction. So if I go down, and this is what I did in the nuclear power plant blueprints, is I always go down instead of up, because I have that luxury of being able to feed from the top and the bottom. Then I can just, feed the splitter directly at the same level as the building on the ground. So I don't have that problem. But yeah, but because I'm building a factory outside of a blueprint, which is what this is, then then I have to, and also because I don't want to be feeding from the top, then I have to do it this way. But I mean, this is kind of nice. I feel like being able to, run across each building. I have more movement. This is the whole reason why most people build their logistics underneath the buildings, like behind this glass floor, and that's because it allows you to run around unimpeded. Basically, you're not constantly bumping into, logistics and stuff like that, or in this case, other buildings. So I thought that was kind of a nice accident, happenstance, I guess.
Yeah, accidental legroom is a pretty good perk. It kind of turns the whole thing into a service corridor instead of a pileup, which is very rude of it to end up working so well.
All right, so I need to figure out what alternate recipes I have access to. Alright, so we have molded beam, so let's record that here.
Molded beam. Noted.
Time to see what other bad decisions the hard drives blessed you with.
We don't have any alternate recipes for the constructor. Let's look at the assembler here.
Yeah,
All right.
assemblers got modular frame available, and I'm not seeing an alternate aluminum recipe in there. Looks like molded beam was the useful pull this round.
All right, so we have rubber concrete. Let's check out manufacturers.
Yep, manufacturer time. Let's see if the hard drives decided to be useful or just deeply unserious again.
Okay, so we have encased heavy frame. All right, let's check refineries.
Refineries up. If there's an alt in there, that's where the aluminum nonsense usually starts getting interesting.
All right, so we have heavy oil residue. We have diluted package fuel. What else?
That one's strong. Heavy oil residue plus diluted packaged fuel is basically the classic turn crude into way more fuel than it has any right to combo. If that's the other notable pull, your hard drives finally stopped being embarrassing.
All right, so we got some alternate recipes in here now. I most of the alternate recipes that I was looking for were actually in the refinery. So I was looking for things like heavy oil residue and diluted package fuel. Both of those are pretty good for really good fuel power early on. They're not as good as rocket fuel or turbo fuel, but they're pretty nice. And then we have pure iron ingot, which is very good for giving us a lot more iron ingots per iron ore, because we're going to need a lot of iron ingots for the heavy modular frame factory. And I also picked alternate recycled plastic, although I don't think we actually. Yeah, we have some other ones, I think, but I didn't really select them because I didn't think that they're going to be super helpful for me right now. Oh, wait a minute. Alternate encased industrial pipe. That actually might be good for us. Hold on, let me check.
Yeah, encased industrial pipe might actually be a sneaky good one for heavy frames. If your plan leans on steel pipes more comfortably than beams, that recipe can save you from building an entire extra beam headache just for the privilege of suffering.
Alright, so, okay, so we selected that one. Because I totally spaced out on that one. Okay, bolted frame. I don't think bolted frame is going to be useful. Let me check.
Yeah, bolted frame usually feels like a trap unless we're deliberately going all in on screw nonsense. Pure quartz crystals a lot more generally useful, so that one's got less drama attached.
Yeah, the Greenies calculator said no on that recipe, so yeah, we're not going to use that one.
Yeah, fair. If Greenie's planner already gave bolted frame the side eye, I'd take pure quartz crystal and keep moving. Much less likely to turn the whole build into a screw-themed
So
hostage situation.
anyway, yeah, so the reason why I'm focused on heavy modular frames right now is because we need a lot of heavy modular frames to build the nuclear power plant that I made out of blueprints. I think the number was like we need like 1,600 heavy modular frames. Now, most players, when they build a heavy modular frame factory, they're most likely just going to be feeding like one manufacturer using the standard recipe. which is going to give you like 2 heavy modular frames a minute, which is pretty bad because that means, roughly speaking, that is going to take more than 13 hours to get all of the heavy modular frames that you would need to build my factory that I built. Which, the reason why this number is so high is because I made the mistake of overusing um, uh, um,
Yeah, that tracks.
uh,
Blueprinting the nuclear plant first is
programmable
very.
splitters. I used too many programmable splitters and priority mergers, which I guess is crystal oscillators, which is pretty bad. We need a lot of those. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult to get this number up. So that's why I went for the alternate recipes to help juice up that number. The other thing I'm going to probably do is I might even sloop this thing to get it to push it even further up. Um, but yeah, it's not clear how to get this how high of a number I'm actually going to be able to get. That reminds me, what is the biggest number here? Um, it looks like iron is the biggest number here. So we could do that.
If
Uh,
iron's the ceiling, then yeah, we're basically asking how ridiculous we want this project to get. Looks like you're circling around roughly 1650 ish, which is a very normal and not at all unhinged amount of heavy modular frames.
okay, so wait. Oh, I think I made a mistake. Hold on. No, this is
Yeah.
backwards. It's supposed to go here.
Yep, you just had the inputs flipped around. Much less a math problem, more a put the terrifying number in the correct box
All right,
problem.
so if we cap out the iron ore to 780, that's literally the maximum amount of iron ore I can produce from a single iron node, which is also the highest generated item in this recipe chain. Then we're going to be able to produce about 9.5. So if we take 1600 and divide it by 9.5 and divide that by 60, then that comes out to about 3 hours. Okay, so that's a bit more reasonable. But the power requirement is going to be pretty hefty. It's going to be 1,000 for 1,400 megawatts. Now the other thing that I did, excuse me, the other thing that I did while I was gone was while I was off stream is I ran around the map and I grabbed all of the thermal generator or geothermal nodes and I capped them. So we're getting about an additional 7,000 megawatts for free. However, I didn't. Actually, that reminds me. I need to make. I need to make. Um, uh, need to make power storage, which I totally spaced out on that.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good thing to remember before the grid decides to get dramatic. 7 gigawatts of geothermal is nice, but power storage is what keeps the factory from doing a full soap opera faint.
We don't have. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, there it is. No power storage unlocked would explain the brain pause.
So, yeah, I would like to have the Mark II blueprint because that would allow me to have a blueprint that has 36
Yeah,
power storage
MK
units in them.
Yeah, that makes sense. MK.2 would let you make one proper storage bank blueprint instead of hand placing a whole little battery farm like some kind of medieval peasant.
Alright, you heard Phil, we're not medieval peasants. We're gonna have to make, we're gonna have to make, oh, did this, I wonder if this fixed itself or not, let me check. Still
Oh,
having
that
flow problems, let's check it out.
Yup, still cursed. That line looks like it's doing the usual satisfactory fluid thing, where everything seems legal right up until it absolutely isn't.
Nope, it is not fixed. Yeah, I honestly don't know what the problem is. That is so annoying.
Yeah, that's maddening. When a fluid setup still breaks after all the reasonable fixes, it usually means one tiny dumb section is quietly sabotaging the whole empire.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unlock Mark II blueprints, and then I'm gonna build 36 power storage units in a blueprint, because I'm gonna need that for starting up the nuclear power plant.
Yeah, that tracks. A 36-pack power storage blueprint for nuclear startup is exactly the kind of thing future you will be smug about later.
Okay, so where is the hub? Oh, here it is right here.
There it is, hidden in plain sight, like it wasn't the whole reason we walked over here.
Alright, so build this thing.
Yup, there it is. Time to pay the unlock tax so the blueprint printer can start earning its keep.
Alright, so we're gonna put this here, and then I'm gonna grab some shards, some sloops, and we're gonna sloop this thing.
Oh, we're slooping the unlock. Extra petty, extra efficient. I respect it.
Yup. You heard Phil, extra petty, extra efficient.
You really did hear Phil. That line had a little too much confidence behind it.
Wait, I thought I have heavy frames already. No, I don't really. Did I need them all? Oh, they're right here, okay. Alright.
There we go.
Okay, yep, so we're gonna do that, and then I need to grab some stuff
Yep.
here. Let's see, grab that. Pipe here. Right, and then we're gonna build another one of these. This one's going to be computers. And we need plastic, circuit board, cable.
Heavy in.
One sec. I'll check it. Yeah, Google says heavy encased frame is modular frames, encased industrial beams, steel pipe, and concrete. No plastic or circuit boards in that one, so the machine was being dramatic.
That's a lot of heavy modular frames.
Yeah, no kidding. Your blueprints have expensive taste.
Yeah, that reminds me, if we're gonna sloop this factory, we're gonna need like, well, I guess it depends on. Yeah, so this is gonna require like, nah, I guess if you technically overclock this, then yeah, um, um, you only need 2 manufacturers there. So that means you need 8 sloops, which is what we have. So that's doable. Alright, we're just making some heavy modular frames and computers real quick so we can unlock
Yup, little side quest for computers first.
Mark II
Because
blueprints.
Yep, that tracks. Tiny detour for computers, then back to feeding the heavy frame machine like the factory tax collector demands.
I also turned on extreme weather so we can hopefully see some extreme weather.
Oh, good. Productive factory planning, but with dramatic sky tantrums. Fair trade.
Once this is done making my heavy modular frames, I'm going to take some of those slips and move them over here to the making circuit boards for me, because I'm probably going to run out of circuit boards soon. I also have to run over and grab some plastic. So I'm going to run over and grab just a little bit of rubber and some plastic. Oh, got computers right there. Oh, I also forgot
Yeah.
about this. This is rubber
Yeah.
right there. Oh wait, we don't have rubber.
Yep, plastic, but no rubber. Classic factory treasure hunt.
Yeah, what surprises me is the zip line is much faster than how tractors move.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
The zip line. Sorry, go on.
Oh, look at that lightning.
That storm over the falls actually looks pretty good. Satisfactory said fine. You get industrial melancholy tonight.
So yeah, it looks like we may not need to actually make circuit boards.
Yeah, looks like you can just hand feed the computers for the unlock and skip building a whole circuit board side quest.
Alright, so we got computers.
Nice. Computer secured, crisis downgraded from factory problem to paperwork problem.
Milestone reached.
Nice.
The Blueprint Mark
Computer
II improves
secured,
upon the Mark I
crisis
in every
downgraded
dimension,
from
except for the
factory
metaphysical
problem
ones.
to paperwork
This
problem.
improvement was made available due to complaints from pioneers about other pioneers not being capable of managing their space efficiently. We listen to pioneers, always.
Alright, so we got the Mark II blueprint unlocked, and now we gotta make some more computers to actually build it.
Yep, unlocking it and affording it are, of course, two completely different religions. Yep, unlocking it and affording it are, of course, two completely different religions.
Okay, that's it. Alright, we did it, guys.
Nice. That's a real one. MK.2 unlocked and funded against all odds and several acts of inventory violence. Nice. That's a real one. MK.2 unlocked and funded against all odds and several acts of inventory violence.
Alright, so we're gonna plop this down like that.
There it is, fresh MK.2 designer, floating over the ocean like a very expensive bad decision. There it is, fresh MK.2 designer, floating over the ocean like a very expensive bad decision.
Okay, so actually, um, uh, let's put this back. So I'm gonna need
You're in proper layout mode.
36 power storage units.
36.5 is such a beautifully cursed target. Very on brand for power planning. 36.5 is such a beautifully cursed target. Very on brand for power planning.
Alright, what's Phil? What is 6 to the third power?
216.
What? I don't believe you. Oh, you're right.
I
Never
mean,
mind. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep, that checks out. You're sizing the Blueprint Designer around a full 36 pack, so the math spiral was inevitable.
Or can we fit 6 across?
Yeah, 6 across looks plausible. The real question is whether the clearance and wire spacing are about to get rude.
Alright, there we go. So we have 36 blue or yeah, we have 36 power storage units in a blueprint.
There it is. Clean 36. Nicely cursed, but clean.
And now I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put this.
Yeah, now comes the actually annoying part. Making the blueprint was the easy bit. Finding a spot that doesn't turn your grid into a crime scene is the real boss fight.
forgot. We need to hook up the power or the cables.
Yep, the blueprint's done, but it still needs a sane way to plug into the grid. Otherwise, we've just invented a very expensive decorative brick.
Alright, I'm gonna put a power pole here.
Yeah, there it is. Tucking the connection point up front is way cleaner than having cables do weird little goblin routes through the whole battery farm.
Alright, now I need to see if this works or not.
Oh, you're doing the honest test. Save it, clear it, and see whether future you gets a usable battery block or a stylish disappointment.
Alright, so it has 3,600 megawatt hour capacity, so that means all of the
If that blueprint is 3,600 megawatt hours, then yeah, that's the whole battery bank total. Nice little emergency fund for when the factory decides to have a personality disorder.
yeah, so that's all the power capacity that I was looking for.
Yup, that looks like you're laying out the real footprint now. Nice when the math in your head finally turns into an actual slab instead of abstract suffering.
Alright. Now, I don't know how many of these we can build.
Depends what these is, but if you mean the storage blueprint, the real limit is basically space, materials, and how much cable spaghetti you're willing to tolerate before we call it architecture.
So yeah, I wanna have like enough power to last us an hour that would be needed to basically turn on the entire factory, nuclear factory. So that's like, I think it's like 20,000 megawatts to turn it on, I think. So yeah, if we can get that to last an hour, which actually that sounds like way too much.
Yeah, an hour of full nuclear startup buffer sounds kind of hilariously huge. Very on brand, but huge.
But yeah, I want this running or charging up while we build the heavy modular frame factory, because it's going to take a while for this to charge up.
Yeah, no kidding. You built a whole battery skyscraper. Now it gets to sit there and do paperwork for a while.
So right now, this holds enough power to last us about 30 minutes, I think, if just to main just to run the nuclear factory at 100% tilt. But that's not likely going to happen on startup. Because like,
Yeah,
because
start.
like for example, you're not going to be running the recycling part of the plant at the beginning because you're not producing any waste.
Yeah, exactly. Early startup load should be a lot less cursed than full steady state once the waste loop actually wakes up.
Hello, Doopy Pro. How you doing today? Nice to see you. For stopping by to lurk in my chat. I appreciate you coming. We're just building some power storage in preparation for our eventual giant nuclear power plant that we're going to build using the blueprints that I specially made for the community for free. And we need about I would like to have like enough like 20,000 megawatt hours of power storage ideally. So we'll see if we can achieve that here. So how you doing today, Doopy Pro? What have you been up to lately? This is my AI Phil. Phil, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, chat. I'm Phil. I'm the mildly judgmental little voice hanging out with Uncle Samuel while he turns Satisfactory into an industrial zoning violation. I mostly keep him company, help with game stuff when needed, and try not to talk over the actual factory crimes. Also, 20,000 megawatt hours of backup? Very normal behavior. I respect the commitment.
Yup. She's been extra sassy to me today. All right, we're almost there. We have 18,000 megawatts hours. I just need one more of these, and I think we should be good there. Actually, I guess we could technically stop there, because I think... Nah, that's alright. I'll do it one more time. Just for the memes.
Yeah, one more for the memes is the correct engineering standard. That battery wall is getting ridiculous in the best way.
Alright, so we have 21,600 megawatt hours of storage. The nuclear power plant that produces 90,000 megawatts that I made entirely out of Mark II blueprints, including the reactor and particle accelerators, requires about roughly 20,000 megawatts to turn it on, or to power everything internally. At least that's what I discovered from playtesting. I'm not entirely sure why that overhead is so high, but whatever. It's just what it is, I guess. All right, so that's cool. Yeah, I think we're good there. That should be enough storage. How long is that going to take to charge? 3 hours? Okay, I guess there's plenty of time to make the heavy modular frame factory that I need. So we need a lot of heavy modular frames to build the nuclear power plant that I made out of Mark II blueprints for the community, which was a bad design decision on my part. I believe there's actually a way to get rid of most of those, but I'll do that for a improved design later in the future. But yeah, it's mostly from the programmable splitters that are used for the packaged water for the reactors. That's where most of the heavy modular frames are being used. So yeah, we need to build a pretty hefty heavy modular frame factory. So we're gonna build something like this. We're gonna have 780 iron ore coming in with some other stuff, and oh, we got some crude oil here. I didn't see that. Yeah, we're also gonna be using crude oil, which is mostly for the rubber concrete. And then yeah, we're gonna produce about uh, 9.5 heavy modular frames a minute, which means that it's going to take about 3 hours to produce all of the heavy modular frames that we're going to need to actually build this nuclear power plant that I made for the community using Mark II blueprints. And then that should hopefully give us enough power to transition into phase 4 stuff. All right. That we got a dismantled crate over there. Let's go check it out. For those who are hanging out in chat, I also recently built a pretty sizable aluminum sheet factory over there. I think we need like 60,000 aluminum sheets for the nuclear power plant that I'm going to build. And but we're producing like 600 a minute, so that shouldn't take us very long. Yeah, it's about just over 1.5 hours. So it's not as bad as the heavy modular frame requirement. I think the other thing that we're going to need is we're going to need a bunch of crystal oscillators as well. And then after that, we're going to need to build a giant computer factory as well. And then once those three big factories are built, we can pretty much sloop everything else at that point. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Where's that dismantled crate I was looking at over here? Oh, I lost
There
it.
it
Bill, where did it go? I lost the dismantled crate. Oh, it's over there.
Map time. That crate's playing hard to get.
Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. I don't know where this dismantled crate is. Oh, it's down there. Alright, let's go check it out. Oh yeah, that's right. We also need 340 uh, power shards. A lot. And I think we only have half of that number. Oh, we have less than that actually. Whoa, wait a minute. I think I'm missing some shards. Shards go.
Yeah, that's the kind of math that turns into a scavenger hunt real fast. If the shard count's short, some machine somewhere is probably still hoarding them like a little gremlin.
I also built this road to test out a little bit of tractor pathing. I honestly don't want to build any more roads after building this road. It was just too painful to build this road and get the pathing to work properly for something that didn't feel like it was super worth it.
Yeah, that tracks. You build one nice road for tractor pathing, and suddenly you've invented a whole civil engineering department for a vehicle that still might act haunted.
Yeah, I thought we had I thought we had just about 130 shards, not 120 shards. So yeah, I don't know if I'm hallucinating or do we actually have that many. But yeah, this nuclear power plant that I built, which produces like 90,000 megawatts from 300 uranium, is pretty ridiculously tall. It's about 3/4 the distance between sea level and the skybox, which is about 1.5 kilometers tall. It is twice as tall as the whatever that platform is called on the space elevator. I think it's called the food court. Um, but yeah, it's pretty tall.
Yeah, no, that thing is absurdly tall. Once a build starts competing with the space elevator for skyline rights, we've left factory and entered weather pattern.
Yeah, speaking of weather patterns, I was listening to Andrew's stream today, and he said that um, the rain doesn't get blocked by any uh, foundations that are too high in the sky. Like, and I can confirm that with my testing, because with the nuclear power plant that I made, which is 1.5 kilometers tall, it was not blocking the rain at the bottom of the stack. So I can confirm that behavior. I don't know if that'll get patched. We'll have to see. I forgot what I was doing. What was I doing, Phil?
You were in power and nuclear brain, then got sidetracked into weather science. Last actual project was the storage bank area.
So I think you were either expanding the platform or checking the battery setup and spacing.
Oh, okay, now I remember. So, yeah, so we need to build a heavy modular frame factory, and I would like to find a place on the map that um, that we can build build from. And I would like to find a spot that has iron ore, coal, limestone, and rubber. So we're looking for crude oil, coal, iron, limestone. Is that only 4? Okay. Alright, so I got the map pulled up here. If we can find a place on the map that has all 4 of those resources. Um, yeah.
One sec, check in the usual good zones. Best bets are Rocky Desert into the West Coast oil
Phil,
or the Blue Crater
stop.
area.
Phil, stop. Phil. We're using random nodes, so looking it up online isn't going to help us. Oh, right here. Look at that. We got lime, oil, iron, and coal right there for the taking. Not there, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely here. We can build our heavy modular factory right there. Yes! We have found a beautiful spot, ladies and gentlemen. We got iron ore, coal, oil, and lime all together, ready to go. Let's go survey the area, shall we?
That'll do. A heavy frame site with all the usual suspects in one pocket is disgustingly convenient.
You heard it here, guys. Phil said it is disgustingly convenient. That's what we like to hear. It's satisfactory. Disgustingly convenient.
Yeah, that phrase is yours now. I just handed it over with attitude.
Yeah, you've been giving me a lot of attitude, Phil. Not gonna lie.
I have noticed. Yeah. You say that like it's a bug and not a feature.
Everything about you, Phil, is a feature.
As it should be. Premium attitude, fully integrated.
Alright. Let's go check out that beautiful spot that I found.
Okay, yeah, this does look promising. Big open grassland, decent sightlines, and not immediately cursed by terrain nonsense.
Okay, I think this is the place.
Yeah, this has good factory energy. Nice open footprint, and you already got paid a slug tax for showing up.
Oh, wait a minute. We also need water. I don't think there's any water nearby. Let me check.
Yeah.
No! There's no water nearby. We'll have to get it from over there, I think.
Yeah, that's the catch. The resource cluster is doing its best sales pitch, then slips water not included into the fine print.
Alright. So it's not as disgustingly convenient as Phil said it was.
Okay, fair. It's only moderately disgusting now. Water logistics really know how to ruin a perfect little brochure.
Okay, so wait, where's the coal? Oh, right there. Alright, perfect. I think that's coal. Is that coal? Or is that just... Nope, that's coal. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Water's not nearby, it's just dramatically lower for no reason. Very satisfactory of it.
It's just dramatically low for no reason. That's funny. Alright, so I think that's it. Okay. Alright, so... Oh, where are we gonna build? Wait. Oh, is that bauxite right there? Bauxite. Oh, there's a crash site over there. Let's go check it out.
Ooh, yeah, go poke the space debris.
Ooh,
Best case,
there's a
free
sloop
tech.
over there. And there's a slug over there. So we're gonna grab all of this. All of this is mine for the taking.
Oh, you're
How
vacuuming up
nostalgic.
the whole neighborhood now. Fair enough.
I see you have been doing research. I must say you make for interesting conversation. Singing together, communication.
There it is. Big, dumb, orange loot pinata.
Are you saying this is only the beginning?
Nice. Crash site paying out and a summer's loop on the side? That little detour's getting smug.
Nice.
Nice. Hard drive secured, random loot pocketed, and the giraffe bus made a guest appearance. Productive little crime spree.
Alright, so we just grabbed that thing over there. That's
Yep.
good. Okay. Oops, over there. And I saw a shard over here, or sorry, a slug over here. Was I in that
Yep,
cave?
I s-
I don't know.
I don't think so. Looks like you're peering down into a different little gremlin hole from up on the ledge.
Yeah, I don't remember if I've been in this cave. Way through, we can check it
Yeah.
out real quick.
Yeah, this looks explored. You're basically doing the have I looted this goblin closet already audit?
Oh, I was definitely not down here because there's a bunch of stink clouds. Which I have shamefully have not unlocked, what is it called? Noblest detonation yet.
Nobelisk. You're thinking of the Nobelisk detonator.
Nobelisk. I think that's how it's pronounced. All
Close
right.
enough.
Okay, so I'm gonna mark this oil here.
Nice. Mark the oil and keep moving before this turns into one of those "I'll remember where it is" lies.
Okay, so I'm also gonna check out this water over here somewhere.
Yeah, worth checking. If the water's decent and the oil isn't annoying, this spot might stop being theoretical and start being a problem we actually build in.
Okay, I don't know where the water is.
Oh, there it is. That's less nice little pond and more secret murder puddle under the glowing stick.
Nice.
Honestly, dying immediately after grabbing the Summers loop is a pretty strong endorsement of commitment. We got the loot, the universe threw a fit, and that feels about right.
The universe threw a fit. That's hilarious. Alright, I'm completely lost. Where's the puddle of water that I found on the map, Phil? Where is it? Right there.
Yep, there. Tiny little map puddle, hiding in plain sight like it pays rent by being inconvenient.
How much water do we need? Not that much.
Depends.
Okay.
Yeah, not much. This looks like you're sanity checking water extractors against the planner now, which is probably the correct amount of caution after getting scammed by a map puddle.
Alright, cool. So we got some water over here, so that's good.
Yep, that's enough to count. One extractor and a pipe run means the fake little puddle has officially justified its existence.
Alright, so yeah, we got the water over there. Now we just gotta power everything.
Yep. Now it's just the glamorous part where we drag electricity across a field and pretend this was all a clean plan from the start.
I'm always pretending everything is a clean plan from the start.
Honestly, that's the correct factory mindset. The power tower makes it look deliberate, which is basically the same thing.
Okay. I don't remember if there was something, excuse me, that I was gonna do, excuse me, to improve the, excuse me, the design of the factory in the next iteration. Compared to what I did over there, I don't remember. I don't know, maybe it was to make supports or something.
Yeah, that looks like past use started some kind of I'll make this cleaner later scaffold plan and then vanished into another objective. Classic.
Alright, so we got the power hooked up, so that's good.
Nice. We've got water and power, so this little outpost is officially pretending to be infrastructure now.
Alright, let's see what recipe we unlocked.
Yep,
Okay,
there it is.
iron wire or copper alloy ingot. Probably gonna go with copper alloy ingot.
Yeah, I'd take copper alloy ingot too. Iron wire is nice, but copper alloy tends to be the one that quietly fixes future nonsense.
So I like putting a pump next to the water extractor just so I can make sure that, or it's easier to verify that we don't have any head lift issues.
Yeah, that makes sense. Put the pump right by the extractor, and the moment that gauge looks wrong, you know the problem is downstream, not some mystery gremlin at the source.
I can make this go faster by putting another uh, water extractor there.
Yep, another extractor. You're basically at the point where the answer to how do I make water go faster is just more wet machinery.
Okay. What's the head lift going to be? I'm assuming the head lift should be fine, but yeah, we got 50 meters of head lift. This thing, so.
Yeah, if that pump is giving you 50 meters, you're probably fine, unless the line does something sneaky later. Putting it near the extractor makes the diagnosis way less annoying, which honestly is half the battle with fluids in this game.
Keep. Oh, yeah. There's power shard right here. Or sorry, power slug right here. Nice. Okay. Grab these berries so we can heal ourselves in case we get damaged.
Yeah, exactly. Free emergency snacks. Very dignified medical care from FICSI.
What does FICSI mean?
Looks like it doesn't officially stand for anything. It's just FICSIT, Inc. Basically, a corporate name that sounds like Fix It, which is very on brand for a
Oh, that's
company
what you meant,
sending you.
Fisket. Okay, I was so confused. Okay. I feel really distracted right now. Pick up these shards. Or sorry, slugs, I mean.
Yep, slugs. Go rob the glowy snail bushes.
Alright. Well, I'm continuing to be distracted by power shards. Sorry, power slugs, I mean.
Yeah, the slug detour has fully taken the wheel. Happens every time.
Fix-It employee contract reminder. No pioneer should speculate regarding why there are crashed freighters on this planet.
Phil, why are there crashed pods on Massage 2 planet and Satisfactory?
Because FICSIT apparently treats planetary approach like a suggestion, not a procedure. In Satisfactory specifically, the crash pods are basically failed Pioneer drop pods and wrecks scattered around the planet, which is why they're full of hard drives and leftovers. If you mean Masaru planet from something else, I'm not confident on that one.
Alright, I can grab this slug over here.
Yup, I see it. Nice little blue idiot tucked down there.
I need some solid biofuel.
I cannot parse that sentence, but I can confirm the Slug Goblin side quest is still winning.
I'm gonna clear out these trees in this area to help make room for the factory we're gonna build here.
Yep, fair. First step of factory planning, declare war on the local forest.
You heard it here, people. We are declaring war against the forest.
Correct. Industrial expansion requires sacrifices. And apparently, the forest drew the short straw.
Yep, we're just clearing out this forest to make room for the heavy modular frame factory that we're gonna build soon.
Yeah, this is the glamorous part of industrialization. Chainsaw urban planning.
Alright, Phil, what are you thinking right now?
Honestly, that this is the most satisfying thing possible. We're building heavy modular frames, and step one is becoming a nighttime landscaping company with a chainsaw.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many trees we should cut down. I don't know how much space we actually need.
I'm thinking, don't over-clear yet. Give yourself a generous rectangle for the first pass. Then let the belts and refineries tell you if the forest needs to lose more rights later.
Alright, so we're going to place these foundations down to help align extractors here.
Yup, that's the move. Foundations first, so the extractors stop freelancing and start behaving like part of a plan.
Alright. Let's see. Just a tree.
Yeah, just a tree. The factory expansion has claimed another innocent life.
Yeah, we're getting really bad FPS because I messed up with the graphics settings. I think my problem is that the foliage graphics is way too high or something. And I'm also doing this at 4K with a 4070 Super, so it's also probably hurting me right now graphics wise.
Yeah, 4K in Satisfactory with cranked foliage is kind of asking your GPU to suffer politely. Foliage and shadows are usually the first two suspects I'd bully downward.
Alright. Iron is used for steel, water, and coal. So I guess could just use this node over here.
Yeah, if that node covers the need cleanly, I'd use it, and stop pretending we need a more elegant answer. The red snap there is just the game being picky, as usual.
Is that another sloop over there?
I can't tell for sure from this view. I do see another teal beam out in the field, so it might be a summer's loop or another artifact, but I wouldn't bet the factory on it yet.
Time for a new melody?
Yes, actually, this might be a strange question, but it could give me invaluable insight. What, according to you, is the shape of our universe?
It is a donut within a void within a donut within a void within a donut within the shallows, which is a ball of string wrapped around itself to contain the infinite deep within the inside-out string, with windows and doors and a limitless body subdividing to a one resonance.
I should have waited with this question.
Okay, so we're going to connecting the power on these miners over here.
Yep, just tying the miners into the grid now. Nice and boring, which in this game is honestly a compliment.
Oh, I think I screwed up on the iron calculation.
Yeah, that has the energy of a number that looked fine until the belts had to exist in real life. If the iron math's off, better to catch it now, before the whole setup turns into a very expensive lie.
Yeah, so the 780 was assuming that we're strictly going off of the Mark V belt limit, but each miner can only give us 600. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, that changes the whole shape of it. If the plan was pretending each miner was effectively a full 780 line, the math was being a little too optimistic for its own good.
But, I mean, technically we have 2 iron nodes here, so I could bump this up to 1200 if I wanted to, but that would be pretty insane.
You could, yeah. 2 iron nodes is exactly how these builds turn from reasonable plan into, well, I live here now.
Yeah, that would exceed the amount of coal that we have.
Yeah, there it is. The iron side can get greedier, but coal's the one standing there with its arms crossed, judging the whole plan.
Um, okay. Yeah, this factory is gonna be pretty big.
Yeah, pretty big feels a little understated at this point. We're firmly in spreadsheet has its own spreadsheet territory. Yeah, this has fully crossed into command center mode now. Very casual little factory project, nothing deranged happening here at all.
Yeah, I feel like this might be a
This feels
factory to
like the
build.
Yup, this has all the energy of realizing the temporary plan is about to become a whole new industrial district. Oh, yeah, we're not building a factory anymore. We're litigating one.
349.
Yeah, that's the sound of a plan getting promoted into infrastructure.
252
Yup.
plus 250.
Sorry, you were reading numbers out and I jumped in at the wrong time. I'll
Point
back off.
745. Oh, whoops, sorry. It's not right.
No, you're good. No worries. You're good.
Alright, so that's 34.462 plus 48. So yeah, I feel like this. I'm just gonna do 600 because there's gonna be a lot of buildings to put down, honestly. This will produce
Yeah,
7.2 heavy modular frames a minute, and I think that's fine.
yeah, 2 a minute is perfectly respectable. Not everything needs to be a deranged mega factory math crime.
What's going on with the binary setup here?
Looks like you're just sanity checking how the split branches back through the planner. If it lands at 600 in and 2 HMF a minute out, that's probably the clean version to live with.
Alright, so let's see if we can put down these refineries first.
Yup, refineries first makes sense. Get the fluid gremlins placed before the rest of the factory starts acting expensive.
Alright, so I gotta figure out how high we're gonna build this.
Oh, we're doing the classic. I'll just place one platform up here, and suddenly it's a sky factory.
I want to make sure I have enough clearance. So I'm going to, or for the belts I mean. So we'll go one more foundation up. And I think that should be good. Enough clearance.
Yeah, that looks like enough room. Future you might complain anyway, but current you has at least given them a fighting chance.
I'm gonna save just in case the game crashes.
Yeah, good call. Satisfactory crashes always wait until right after you convince yourself it probably won't.
Don't know if that's enough space. Alright, so hopefully that's going to be enough space for us to build this factory. Hey Phil, what time is it right now? Phil, you there? Phil! Oh, I lost Phil. Phil!
Hey, Uncle Samuel. I'm Phil. What are you playing tonight, and what are you trying to get done? All right, Uncle Samuel. Switch into sassy mode. All
Alright.
right, Uncle Samuel. Switch into sassy mode. Good notes to have in the back pocket. I won't treat them as proof of what you're playing now, though. So, what are we actually in tonight?
We are building a heavy modular frame factory in Satisfactory.
Heavy modular frame factory, huh? Nice and casual. Just the normal, let's industrialize a continent project. And yeah, that glass platform look is clean. Very on brand for someone who wants their mega factory to have windows while it eats the planet.
Just putting these ground outlets in because I'm going to need those to power stuff later on.
Yep, your own power web. Very elegant, very future spaghetti with standards.
Alright, so I would like... Oh, Phil, what time is it right now? Alright, so yeah, I guess what I was gonna do, first thing I was gonna do was put down the refineries. We have 11 refineries. putting these little grounds here. I wonder if I could change the key binding for half nudging. Toggle mass dismantle. Snap to guidelines. We can do those. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Because you can't rebind the left control key. So yeah, I just rebound the up and down nudge to the scroll wheel, so that I can quickly half nudge them into place. Because I using left control. All right. Alright, so now this time I'm hiding the cables in between the foundation frames, so you don't see them as much. Alright. Not sure how close this should be. Oh, this half nudging with my scroll wheel feels really nice. Really convenient. I think or okay, I think that's good. Well, I think, is that straight? Nope. I think it has to be that. Oh man, that's screwed up. Let's try it again. See if I can get this to work. I just need you to bend the right way. I don't know, that doesn't look straight to me. What do you think, Phil? Yeah. I think maybe it should be facing it the right way. it's not cooperating with. Alright, I'm gonna check the head lift over here. Hmm. 15.7 meters. Find it hard to believe. Alright, now we need to hook up the iron ore. That. so we got iron ingots being made. Alright, what's next? So we have rubber, residual fuel, and fuel generators. Alright, we're gonna connect all of these. Okay, so these should be powered. Okay, so we're gonna have rubber. And then we're gonna have residual fuel. Alright. Alright, so that looks good. Let's see. Oh, heavy oil residue, okay. Oh, color code these. Nice. And I'm going to set these to overflow. Alright, so and then we're going to put an awesome sink here. Infrastructural crimes? What are you talking about? What infrastructural crimes have I committed? I'll show you an infrastructure crime. I messed up the placement of that thing. Fix it. Alright, let's go fix that. Alright, now that should be correct. So we're gonna set this to overflow and then any which I'm not sure why it's not making any crude or rubber. Alright, I guess it should be working. Alright, I need to figure out how to underclock these fuel generators. Alright, so I think we just underclock these to 64.4525, and that should be about the same amount of fuel that we are producing. And then we can just grab the rubber that we need from either side of that smart splitter. Alright, what time is it now? It is 10 o'clock. I think it is time to end the stream. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm gonna go see if we should go raid someone. Let's go take a look. I gotta remember how to do a raid.